Good morning. Welcome to Nar Shalom in Jerusalem. I'm Avraham Shira. We have a subject here that I think is worth bringing public and that everybody can benefit, at least to hear how wise the rabbis are and how the sages understand us better than we understand ourselves sometimes. And we're in the middle of Likutei Moharan 56 in the fourth paragraph, and we're discussing the idea of God being hidden and then God hiding his hiddenness so the person doesn't even know that God's hidden. Or a person just could believe there is no God, or there is no God that pays attention or looks. And so we've been discussing this for a couple of days. And an amazing concept, a couple of amazing concepts emerged from this, that the actual light of God is still in the darkest places. It's beneath the deep surface of even the worst sins. Now, how can that be? So we understand that the Ein Sof Baruch Hu, the infinite light, is pure life force. Human beings give it shape. It's a pure life force. And we can make it something awesome and beautiful and wonderful and holy, or we can make it something quite the opposite. And so that flexibility of the light is part of the free choice that we've been given by the Creator. And he goes on to tell us here in the middle of this long paragraph, and he tells us that a person can hide the light of Hashem and to the point that he doesn't even know that he's turned something that's forbidden into something that's hidden, that's permitted. That we could take one of the 10 commandments and turn it around into something that's permitted, and not even know that he's done it. You hear this? How far this goes? And this is the hiddenness inside the hiddenness, where you don't even know that something's hidden. You don't even know there's a 10 commandments, or you don't know what it says over there, or you don't care, or you just heard it and don't want to bother with it. Therefore, we need to reveal the hiddenness. That there is the light of Hashem even in these darkest places. He told us yesterday, and this is by drawing down the length of days into the holy kingship, which is a Kabbalistic term for bringing down something from a high place down into the physical realm, without describing it too much more. And this is the idea of dat, knowledge, that through having knowledge, you can even know that you're in the hiddenness. And as long as you know you're in hiddenness, then there's a good chance you can get out. You know, if you go to one of those mazes, they have those mazes that are cut out of beautiful hedges. I know they have them in England and other places. And you're in the maze. If you don't know that you're in a maze, how are you going to get out? You just think, well, this is the world. If you're born in such a place, if you're born in a maze, you wouldn't even know that this is not reality. And so too is the hiddenness of Hashem, that Hashem is so hidden that we don't even know that it's not the reality. But even there in the darkest place, in the what we call a sin, is still the life force to do the act. Because we're taking his power and using it to breathe, to think, for our blood to flow through our veins, for our speech to work. All of that is his power. And we have the free choice to put it where we want. And this power is also the power that's driving the Torah. And so even in these darkest places, there is hidden Torah, which is amazing. When you know this, when you know that God is in the hidden places, even in the sin, it doesn't mean you give a guy a blank check, a free pass to do what he wants, but you still know it. That, wait, God is in here. I know it. I'm not going to be fooled. That there's something good in here that we don't know about. And by knowing it, you reveal it. By knowing something, you become the channel of revealing it. Remember that. So that even if something dark and negative happens in your life, we're not going to try to candy coat it, but we're going to still know that there's something in it that's holy and useful, and it's new ideas of Torah. So we're going to go further with this. Naseh mehem Torah. And so, Shafilas Torah, Shebetochas Torah, Naseh Torah. So the hiddenness can still create Torah. And even and we know that God is enclosed there. This Torah and God are one, because we always assign that God and Torah are one. But he didn't know God was hidden there. Once you know it, you can be the one who reveals it. He repeats the idea. And he tells us an interesting thing. That when the person's at the level of not knowing that what he's doing is wrong, he doesn't know the Ten Commandments, he doesn't know that it's asur to have illicit relations, let's say. He doesn't know that when you sign a contract of marriage with somebody, we're not supposed to do something else and go somewhere else. And as it's called in modern parlance, cheating. He says over there that we take the light of the Torah and turn it inside out to the point where a person can think that a sin is actually a mitzvah. That's how far it goes. And so I decided I'm going to make a map of this, because it's too complex to keep in your brain too long. Listen, Simcha. That you could take the light of the Torah that says don't tin'af, don't pursue illicit relations, and it also says al tachmod, don't lust after your neighbor's wife. From those words, the Rebbe says you can twist it up and make it into, it's a mitzvah. Which is like the darkest of the dark. We talked about this yesterday. Yeshaya said, Oy lehem, shanase ra tov v'tov ra. They call goodness evil. And they call evil goodness. Does that sound familiar? Is somebody learning this in modern politics? And so I made a list. Listen to the map. The Torah says, don't desire another man's wife. That's God's advice. That's the first commandment. I'm God. When you have a God, he has an agenda for you. Right? The next thing, and so we know that from that cheating on a spouse is wrong. So but what happens? Well, when I was a kid growing up, they used to joke and say, well, it's wrong. Cheating is wrong if you get caught. Oh, what does that mean? It's okay if you don't get caught? So already we start twisting with the truth. Next thing you know, no, a person does get caught, but he says, but I didn't love her. Or she says, I didn't love him. It was just, I got drunk. Okay. You see how the slope gets slipperier. Okay. And after there's a no love declaration, so we're going to stay married and try to work it out. We get therapy, which always helps. They both decide, well, you cheated, so I'm going to cheat. Now it's getting worse. Because both people are doing it. And after you see that, well, he cheats, so I'll cheat, and vice versa, then we go to the next level, what's called an open relationship. Well, this is too hard. Honey, let's just stay married, and we'll just do what we want when we want, and nobody needs to know for the better. Open relationship. Well, that's not good enough. That's not far enough down the road. So this generation has invented something called polyamoral. In other words, amory is just everybody loves everybody. Wow, it sounds like Woodstock, Perfect solution to all our problems. Just everybody love everybody and don't get excited about who it is. No responsibility. And so that gets classified as freedom. Freedom and my personal right. It's my right, a person. I can imagine, I've heard people talk this way, literally. Shocking to me, a guy that looks like me, thinks like me, who's been educated like me. I'm like, wow, they really believe in this thing. No, it's okay. I love a few people, and my wife loves a few people, and everybody loves everybody, and we don't ask any questions, at least on that level. They ask other questions. We're not going to go there now. And then it becomes your personal right, that I have a right to do this, that nobody in the world can tell me what to do. And then freedom itself becomes a religion. That freedom, the idea that I can do whatever I want, now becomes the new religion. Because it used to be, well, we have this God, and he has an agenda, and now we don't like the agenda, or slowly you see, it didn't happen overnight. It happened one event at a time, one step down the staircase into the cellar. The next thing you know, no, it's not about God at all. It's about personal freedom and my rights, and I can do what I want. And that becomes sanctified in the public mind, or at least in the Senate, right? So you can marry who you want, and you can be whatever gender you want, and you can still marry who you want, and as many times as you want. Right? They have this law against polygamy. You can't be married to more than one person, but who needs the piece of paper? So it just melts between your fingers, the whole thing. And what's the end of it? Well, the end is it's the complete inverse of the first commandment of the Torah. God says, I'm God. Okay, everybody listen up. And the end game here is the complete reversal of the entire Ten Commandments, that there is no God at all. I just do what I want. Because I'm always, the self-justification has to continue. And this is what the Rebbe is saying here, that you would take the letters of the Torah, al tachmod and al tinaf, don't lust and don't seek illicit relations, especially arayot, which in Hasidut, arayot is these relations that include things like, I can't even say the word, right? Incest. God forbid. Lo aleinu shelo neda. These things are beyond. You destroy lives. Lives are being destroyed as we speak. And it's not funny. But still, the chiddush of Rabbi Nachman here is that even in these low places, there is sparks of the will of Hashem. It's just been covered over by human behavior and human consciousness. But that spark, when it's brought out, it has new Torah there. And we suddenly understand things we didn't understand before. And so a person can, that old country music song, looking for love in all the wrong places. Well, maybe let's look for love in the right places. But, when you don't know anything and you haven't been educated in Torah, and you're 17 years old, and it's so cool to go to a bar because you can drink without, legally, and next thing you know, other things happen. You could tell yourself, well, I just wanted to fall in love. Now, wanting to love is a good thing. That is the holy spark. I want to love. And love doesn't mean, because most people when they say I love you, they really mean I love how you make me feel, right? I love you because you make me feel good. But the real wanting to love is I want to love. I want to see human beings at their highest. I want to hold people up to the highest standard, not by judging them, but by seeing them that way. And the Lubavitcher Rebbe, someone once went to the Rebbe and asked him, how are you able to give people blessings and heal them? How are you able to do this? And the Rebbe said, I see them as perfect already. Now think about that line. A person that's broken comes in front of you. If you can see their perfection in the midst of their brokenness, that means that your mind can reconstruct the good that's in the midst of that brokenness. And that's that spark that's hidden in that Torah from that low fallen place that was back in, New Orleans on some lost weekend. So folks, we have a gift here, the Torah that was given to us, last Saturday night, Sunday morning, and we have it again, and it's new again, and we're going to go back to it over and over, because new things are always coming out. And these people gave their lives so that we could see it that way and live it that way and find new things ourselves. So I want to bless you all to find your own Torah. Find the Torah that's your portion. Find your hidden Torah, because it's deep inside you and it's deep inside your past and all the events of your life. And the highest and the lowest events, there's all sparks of Hashem. And when we declare it, you become the revealer of it. Bezrat Hashem. So have a great week. we're back on our schedule, hopefully until the next holiday comes along and time gets flip-flopped. But it's great to be here. It's great to have you there, and we'll look for you again. God bless.